Hi all, in this video we're going to learn about Android permissions and we'll be creating custom hooks to get our own location, using which we'll be fetching the weather data from another custom hook using Open Weather API. And as you can see, we can search other locations as well. Suppose Newark, and we'll be able to fetch the data for Newark. And suppose we want to search for Bengaluru, then we can do that as well. And suppose we search for Bangalore, then it knows that it is Bangalore only. So, and suppose we want to search for Riyadh, say Riyadh, okay, but I have typed the spelling wrong, but it still searches for the Riyadh, okay. So even if the spelling is wrong, still it understands. Let's start with our setup. So I've already installed all the dependencies, and this is one of the important library, React Native.env, using which we'll be able to keep the API data in a separate .env.local file. I suggest you to create your own API key by going to the Open with the API documentation, because otherwise it might be exhausted. To use this .env file or .env.local file in React Native, you need to add this .babelrc file and add this configuration here. So the most important thing here to remember is if your path is .env, then you need to put .env, otherwise .env.local. So let's start with the permissions. If you are using Windows, then press Ctrl plus P, and if you are using Mac, then press Command plus P and write android manifest.xml, and you will be able to go to this file. So as you can see, there's already permission here for internet, and similarly we can add permission for location, and if you want other permission, then you can add others. For example, we can add permissions for calendar, and similarly you can add plenty of other permissions. We can add permission for record audio if you want to access the mic to record the audio, and if you want to save the audio, then you need storage permissions, right? So for storage permissions, you need these three permissions: read external storage, write external storage, and manage external storage. Remember, this is for Android, not for iOS. So for iOS it will be a different configuration. So now we'll be creating the files using which we'll be asking Android to give us permission. Okay, so first the file will be confirm location. Okay, using this file we'll be able to get the location permission from Android. First of all, we're going to import the permissions Android from React Native. Now we'll be creating the function that will be confirm location permission, and in this first we'll be creating a try and catch block, and this will be an async function. This granted variable will contain the permission request, and the request will be for location. So permissions dot access location. Okay, so this can be found in the React Native documentation. You can check, there are plenty of permissions you can just explore there. So if granted, then we want to tell the user that this is granted, right? Otherwise it's not granted, it's denied. So if it's granted, then you can use the location, and if it's not granted, then let's console dot, let's throw an error. If it's not granted, then let's throw an error saying per location permission denied. And for console, for catching the error, we'll console.warn error. Okay, so that's it for the confirm location permission. Now we'll be creating another for confirm calendar permission. So this will be similar only, nothing different here. So we have already done for the find location and calendar. Now we can add for audio and storage permission. First we'll be creating a file for record audio. So record audio is exactly mic. Okay, don't get it confused. So let's create confirm mic permission. And similarly for this one also, I'll be just copying this one. The difference is only there's a record audio permission. The last one is for storage, and this will be a little bit different. So we are able to request several permissions in the single file, okay? But it looks much better to have a separate file for each of the type of permissions, okay? Now we'll be building React custom hooks, and in the custom hooks, we'll be calling all these permissions. In this hooks folder, I'm creating this custom hook named use location and calendar permission, okay? And you can call all the permission from the same file also, but I prefer to use different file for different permission, use different hook for different permissions. So we don't want to use all the permission at some point of the project, then it's better to keep it separate, right? So since these permissions are only for Android, that's why we want to check first if the platform is Android, then only we want to call the permissions, okay? So platform from React Native, and then if platform is equal to platform OS equal to Android, then only, and this will be async, and inside this we'll be creating a try and catch block, and in the catch if there's an error, then we'll be using the alert from React Native, and alert dot alert, and we'll be putting some text here, cannot continue without the permissions, okay? The second will be an empty, and the third will be a text or title, whatever you want. So text confirm, and on press is equal to back handler. This back handler is also from React Native, so we'll be adding that dot exit app, okay? So and for the try block is await confirm location permission, and the second is confirm calendar permission, okay? For this project I've put this to here in this file. That's it for this hook. Let's create the second hook in which we'll be uh, getting the mic and storage permissions. It will be similar only, just changing the permission names, confirm mic permission and confirm storage permission. Okay, that's it for this one. Yeah, I've imported it in the index file only, so we don't need this. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, similarly here also we have it in the index file, so we don't need to do all those things, and this is much more cleaner, right? So let's call all this hook in my app.js file. Yes, mic, and for some reason this is not coming. Let's check. Yeah, this is coming, and the second one should be use mic, but this is not coming. Maybe I've done something wrong. Okay, no. Okay, I've named it wrong here. use mic and storage permission. Okay, now it will be correct. Okay, this have come. Okay, okay, as you can see it's coming up. Now everything's good. We are going to get the permission from Android. Now we'll be reloading the application, and as you can see it is asking for all the permissions. Now we got all the permissions. Okay, great. Now we can start using the API, using the open weather API. I've already created this file fetch weather in the controllers, and this is the open weather API key, which is already present in the .env.local file. Okay, remember, if you use this API key, then it might be exhausted if more number of people are using it. So it is better if you create your own API key. Inside this will be an async function, and inside this uh, will be calling the API. We'll be using the access library. So access.get first will be the URL, and second is the config object. Okay, so this is important. Config object is equal to an object which will be having the params, and inside the params first is the query. So the query will be getting from the param. Okay, or maybe query. Yeah, let's keep it query for now. Now we can use this query here. And second is important, units will be metric. And third, the most important, is the app id, that will be open with the API key that we are getting. Let's change this one to param, and so this will be easy for us to make it dynamic. So if there's a param, I'll be adding just a ternary operator. I'll be using the ternary operator to check if there's a param.name. Then we want to use this param.name. otherwise Otherwise, if there's no param.name, and there's no query exactly, so we want to create a separate thing. So we want to use the latitude and longitude of our location. So we are going to get our own location, latitude and longitude, and get the weather data for our location. Okay. So lat is param.latitude, and long is param.longitude. So you can use dot then here, and just return the response, and also dot catch. You can handle the error like this, but I've already checked this using the Postman app, so I don't need to do this. You should do this one. So I'll be returning the data. That's it for this one. Now we are creating another hook. This is very important, because we are creating so many hooks. You'll be able to learn custom hooks. Okay, using application, of course, using real life application, we are able to learn. So this is use fetch weather data.js. This is a custom hook. So now we'll be creating some states, okay, so that we can return them. First we'll be importing the use state, of course, from React. In the meantime, let's import the use effect and use callback also, because we'll be using them. The weather data will have a initial value of an empty object. And this is a state for loading. Okay, now I'll be adding this error state. So now I'll be returning the weather data, the loading weather error. Now let's call the weather function and get the data. Okay. So this will be another function. Say fetch weather data. Yeah. So fetch weather data equal to, let's encapsulate it inside a use callback so that it doesn't get called at every render. Okay. This is very important. And this will be an async function and we'll be taking the props. So this argument props is important because we want to make it dynamic. So const param equal to props. If there's a props, then props, otherwise we need the location. Okay, we'll be getting the location from our geolocation. Okay, our own location, our own latitude longitude, we'll be using that. So I'll be using this library. I've already added this one, react native get location. And for this one I'll be creating another hook to get the latitude or longitude of our location. So another hook, the hook name will be use get current geolocation. Okay, .js. Yeah, we'll be using this hook to fetch our current geolocation. Okay, so export const use current geolocation. So let's create a state here also. Const location set location equal to use state. We'll be importing the use state again. And from React Native get location, we require the get location. Okay, so we'll be using this get location to get our current latitude and longitude. And let's just create another one called location error. So I'll be creating another function const get current location. You can also add these things in the use effect, of course, but I'm adding this separately so that it becomes much more better. So const data equal to await and get location dot get current location, get location dot get current position actually. And the parameters that we'll be using here are, these are all the parameters that I've got from the official documentation. So you can go to the GitHub repository and check. These are all the things that I picked up from there. After you get the data, of course you need to set the location and set the location to data, and that's it. And we can return the location location error. And okay, we need to call the get current location also, so we'll be using the use effect. So get current location, we'll be adding that inside the use effect. So this is done. Now we'll be able to get our location. Of course we're going to return the fetch weather data as well, so that we can call it using props also. So if there's a prop, then we'll be using the prop. Otherwise, we'll be using our own location. Okay. So by default, it is the location object. Okay, that we'll be getting using the library. So const data equal to await fetch weather. Okay, this is the controller. Okay, and we'll be sending the param. Okay, we've already done the dynamic functionality in the controller. So set weather data is data, and the dependency will be location. So I have to now add this one in the use effect again. So you can add all these things inside the use effect as I said, but there might be some time that you need to use the function or call the function again with some different data. Similarly, in this application, you can just call the function again and again using different city or different place. So this is the perfect application that we can apply it to. We need to add the fetch with the data here. As we have already encapsulated it inside the use callback, so it won't be called again and again. So let's go to the home screen, and here we'll be calling this hook. We'll be calling the use fetch weather data without any parameter, okay, without any argument. Okay. So what we are getting from this one is weather data, the loading state, and we forgot to add the set loading to false. Okay. So we also want to add the function. Okay, we also want to get the function. So fetch weather data, and we are getting this possible unhandled promise rejection, and I've debugged this one and found that we haven't added the await here, so that's why it was failing. So now we'll be getting the data. As you can see below that we are getting the data. This is our weather data for the current location of the emulator, of course, not my current location. I won't be showing that here. And we'll be using this weather data now in the weather widget and the loading also. So the weather data and the loading state will be added in the weather widget, and we'll go to the weather widget. As you can see right now, I'm using the static data, and I'll be deleting this and just getting the weather data and the loading state. And now I'll be sending the fetch weather data to the home header. Okay, I've sent it there, and I'll be getting it here, fetch weather data. Now I'll be sending the fetch weather data to the settings screen so that we can use it there. So in the settings screen, we'll be taking it from the root. Okay, now we can check, okay, if it is coming or not. So console.log root. So we'll be, yeah, we can get it from the parents. So this parents, I'll be sending it to the settings card where we want to use this one. So fetch parents, okay, or maybe fetch weather data equal to parents. Now we'll be going to settings card, and here we can use the fetch weather data, and we can use this logbox to ignore any warning. I didn't want to handle this warning right now, so that's why I've used this one. So in the handle change location, we want to check if text.length is greater than 0, then we want to use the place or city that we have searched for. And if that is not the case, then we want to check for our current location using the React Native get location. So that is it for this one. And as you can see, if we search for say Delhi, then okay, we haven't added the set text to empty string, and we want to dismiss the keyboard as well. So keyboard dot dismiss, yeah, this is done. Okay, now if we search for Delhi, then our location should be set to Delhi, and it is haze there right now. Let's reload the app again and check. Set location to say Delhi again, and it's coming correctly. Say New York, and it's coming. Say this one empty, then our current location is coming. So that's it for this video. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.